Advisory Plan Commission for Monday, November 8th, 2021. First order of business is the approval of minutes from our October 25th meeting.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Monica, second by Mr. Dine. All those in favor of that motion signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, any special requests or continuances?
No, sir.
Okay, any old business? Old business from the floor. Done. New business. PC 2021-090 Campbell vacation request. This is not a public hearing, correct? And who will be speaking for this petition?
I will be. I'm on Zoom here. My name's Andrew Barkosi with Mauer Surveying.
Okay,
How you guys doing?
good. State your name and address for the record, please.
Name is Andrew Barkosi with Mauer Surveying. We're at 4800 West Smith Valley Road, Suite O, Greenwood, Indiana 46142. I am here representing the owner and petitioner. Hang on one second. Let me bring up my slideshow here. Can you guys see that there?
Yes.
Okay, so this the address is 1122 West Stones Crossing Road. It's owned by Mr. Rick Campbell. He owns right now currently the residence with the outline kind of in cyan color. It's a platted lot done back in 2010-ish, and it was actually under county jurisdiction at that time. He and the owner of kind of the L-shaped farm there to the west have come to an agreement where he's going to purchase the 1.66 acres kind of in red there behind his house and add it to his land just to have the extra land and the extra buffer. So we're going through a minor plat replat because it is a platted lot to add that additional area. This is the preliminary plat for it. It's kind of hard to read here, but kind of shows the existing residents, some of the easements, and then the 1.63 acres kind of in the rear there. What we're here in front of you today, there's a 20-foot drainage and utility easement along the east line and the north line. And we're asking the council to vacate those easements for a couple of reasons. Here's kind of more of a zoomed in run. This is part of the reason. The existing detached garage, as you can see there, was put into that easement. The easement itself has no utilities in it. It's kind of one of those things I'm not sure why the county even required a 20-foot on an interior lot line like that. That's a pretty large easement for a lot line. Typically you see a 7.5 on both sides, or even a 10-foot, as you can see there on lot 2 had that. So there is kind of a bubble out there, as you can kind of see. The reason for that is when this was platted, there was already an existing septic system for the house to the west. So they put an easement around it to incorporate that septic system. So that's why the drainage easement bowed into here. As for how the existing garage got into the easement, not exactly sure. We weren't a part of that process at the time, but we believe when the house was built, between the plot plan and when it was actually staked, the house was shifted in the field and wasn't addressed on the plot plan. So when the builder pulled a permit, thinking the house was further west than it was, the existing garage wasn't in that easement. However, being so, there's no easements there at all. As stated before, there's a little bit of a 20-foot DNUE along the north line that we're also asking to be vacated. That's just because we're actually going to shift that line to the north up to the new lot line up there. So you'll have a 20-foot along the west all the way up, and then 20-foot across the north line. And so we're only asking to vacate a portion of the east side because there is an electric transformer back here, as you can kind of see behind the shed, which the shed is being moved. But there's an electric line that runs up that easement that we're going to keep so that they can still have the right to maintain that easement or that electric line. So this is kind of what we're asking to be vacated. And then this is kind of the final look of what the lot will look like once we add that 1.66 acres. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
All right. Any questions from the commission? Mr. Shell?
I'm a little confused about the existing garage, how it did get that easement. I mean, it's being built by a builder for a builder. And the house seems to be in the middle of a lot and everything. It almost seems like it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission in this case. And I don't know, if that's the case, but that's what it looks like.
I can't speak. Like I said, we weren't North Point Engineering did the plat in the original plot plan. So I'm kind of getting caught up in the middle of it. I'm at the end here trying to, do the next process. So I can't answer that question. I do know, I believe planning staff said the plot plan showed the house further west. And from my experience, you do with bigger lots like this, sometimes they do shift houses from plot plan to the field, just depending on it is. We typically always check our easements. I'm not sure what happened with it. We weren't a part of this detached garage either. So not sure what happened here.
Mr. Johnson, you got any input?
Not sure when. Andrew, do you know when that garage was constructed? Or years later?
Yeah, I'm going to say probably 2014, maybe 2015, maybe around there. It's probably 5 years after the house itself was built. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have that off in front of me right now.
That guy did permit for it. I think the county would have checked that out.
At some point, it was annexed by the city. I'm not sure when this stretch was annexed in. 2012, John, do you have that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Remember, I was here.
Possible it was just an oversight, unfortunately.
This could be one of those ones too. I've seen it before where, the builder takes his plot plan that he did and then, detached garage, he just sketches it on there. I don't know that for sure. I don't have a copy of when this plot plan was pulled, but that could have been the case here too. So if he was going off where he, the plot plan that he thought showed the real location of the house and it didn't, and then he just hand sketched the garage in there, that could very well be. It definitely comes down to too, how that easement is shaped is kind of odd. I would have never thought to look for it unless I knew it was there. But again, we weren't part of this process until now, so I can't speak for the previous plot plans or anything.
So is this only a drainage easement?
It's a drainage and utility easement, but there's nothing in it except for the electric on the far east line. I'm not even sure why the county required such a large interior easement. You really only see those when you're planing a storm sewer or something like that. Your exterior, that's where you get larger easements along your exterior. We actually petitioned to the staff to you can fit, there's 5 feet between the septic and the garage. And we petitioned to have a 5 foot, but after discussion and tech review, we decided that, there's really no point to this easement. With the exterior easement, you can connect all your easements where anybody would need to get to if possible. If sewer does come in, that septic's probably going to get vacated too and everything there. So,
All right. Any other questions? Okay, so there's been a motion prepared.
Well, can we define exactly what we're talking about abandoning? It looks like the entire notched area. And then continuing north down the east side.
And the one on the north side, from what I understand, is going to be moved to the back of the property. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Go. Existing existing,
This is gonna be moved.
right, so they're vacating that. So when you said, what are you vacating? All that's being vacated because it'll be relocated here. There's an existing electrical line somewhere along the
East side.
east side right here, so I think they want to vacate.
John's graphic on the screen kind of has that area hatched out.
That's, yeah, the hatched area is what we're requesting to have vacated.
Here.
And then up the rest of the east property
Just
line.
put back up that
Will
finished
not
product.
be here,
Finish.
all of that. Mhm.
This is what we're hoping to get to.
I'm sorry, this. Essentially, you have easement down here, and easement comes up here. Nothing in between.
This is existing.
And so is this. All of it's existing.
Right, and they're getting rid of that.
I understand getting rid of this. I don't understand getting rid of the continuity from the street north.
I don't know. It's,
All you do is make a recommendation. You can recommend either favorably or recommend that it be denied. It's the council at the ordinance that will make the final decision.
I guess going back, Andrew, what's the reason for vacating this?
Well, one reason that the garage, the building itself is inside there. So staff gave us a couple different options. Back here, as you can see the shed, the petitioner is going to move that shed out of there. As for the existing garage, staff said we can either petition in front of the Board of Public Works for an encroachment easement or encroachment agreement, or what I thought was a much cleaner way was just eliminating the easement that's not necessary. We still get, with this layout, we still get the continuity of, the entire west line will be an easement, and then along the north. And if they really wanted to go north from there, that's fine. There's not really anything to go through there. These exterior easements are never really used in this kind of scenario, mainly in subdivisions. You see it, your storm sewers and everything, and even your utilities. A lot of fiber optics companies don't even like running in the rears just because the chance of getting their lines hit. It's just kind of one of those things that's part of ordinances. And again, I'm not sure why Johnson County required such a large easement on an interior line. There's no easements or no ever plan for it. But we just thought it looked a lot cleaner once this scenario comes to play if you vacate those easements.
So I'm looking at one of your sketches at page 6 of your RAR file, sorry. And there's an arrow there. It says existing 20 feet easement to be vacated. Is that just the where it bumps? Or
No, so it would be this entire hatched area. If you,
no.
yeah, all of this hatched area would be vacated. There's no reason the north line is going to get moved. So you don't want a 20-foot drainage easement in the
Right.
middle of your lot, even though it's in a legal drain. You can't do anything there anyways. But just cleaner, again, you put it to your new exterior property line. And then, like I said, the only utilities is the electric easement. So we've the existing 10-foot easement on the south end covers all of that. We're just trying to make it look cleaner to get more of this look, which allows easements to get around the property into anywhere it needs to go, if heaven forbid. But I don't see that happening. anytime soon.
So looking at your document that it's got hashed out, the easement to the street's not being eliminated. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Because
So,
there's electric, if you look, we're kind of right behind that shed there.
right,
There's an electric box back there that powers the house.
I got
Yeah. So we need to keep that there for the electric.
I don't see why.
Well, he's got one going across the west.
On
So you
the
wouldn't need
side
one
of
on
the
the east.
Correct. Yeah. There'll be a 20-foot along the entire west line. even with the existing and then plus the new one, and then along the entire north new line, which will then connect into the lot 2 of the existing. If you know, they need to connect all the way, and lot 2 goes all the way up to that subdivision up just north of there as well.
What is lot 2? Is that another?
Yeah, it was a 2-lot minor plat. This piece was, I'm not even sure how many acres it was, but it was split pretty much with an existing house, and then they left oops, sorry about that. It created a 2.66 acre lot is pretty much what happened with that minor plat. And so lot 2 is just a longer skinny piece to the west. There you go. There's a good look at it. And it goes much further back.
Lot 2 is the east.
Correct, just to the east.
Is there any current drainage issues between?
No. Also, this those diagonal lines going through there, that's actually a legal tile drain. So the county surveyor and drainage board has full jurisdiction over that area. And that obviously will not be vacated. That'll still exist as it shows here.
Right. I think I get it. All right, any other questions, comments from the commission? No, I think I finally understand what. All right. So there's a motion that's been prepared. So the motion that states would not is the one that would approve what he is looking for. The one on the second page is other motion if you choose not to. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Yes.
Right, as Ms. Kuntz stated, it's a recommendation to the council.
Would not. I just said the weirdest would not, but it's approved. That's the part that
Yeah. We can do it.
wrapping my brain around.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to find that the vacation of a portion of the platted 20-foot drainage and utility easement along the eastern property line and the vacation of the platted 20-foot drainage and utility easement along the northern property line of Lot 1 and Campbell Minor Subdivision Plat located at 1122 West Stones Crossing Road in the city of Greenwood as proposed would not hinder the growth or orderly development of the city of Greenwood or of the neighborhood in which they are located or to which they are contiguous. Make access to the property by means of public way difficult or inconvenient, hinder the public's access to a church, school, or other public building or place, hinder the use of a public way by the neighborhood in which they are located or to which they are contiguous, nor adversely affect the health, safety, or welfare of the general public or delivery of services to the public. And that the Plan Commission recommend that the platted easements be vacated as proposed and authorize the Plan Commission president to execute and deliver a memorandum regarding these findings and the recommendation of the Common Council in the Plan Commission's behalf.
Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Monica. All those in favor of that motion signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Defeat is one. Okay, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
You guys have a good one.
You too. All right.
It's kind of a waste of time.
Second, under new business would be PC 2021-07, I'm sorry, 097, Holly Springs primary plat. This is a public hearing. It'll be 15 minutes for the petitioner, 15 for the remonstrator, and 5-minute rebuttal for each. All those speaking for or against need to stand and be sworn in. Okay, there was one on Mr. Gooden.
Yes,
Okay, you heard the swear.
I did not hear her. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You swear to the case of perjury, testimony that is true to the best of your knowledge.
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. My name is Tony Pagato. I'm the title manager for Lennar Homes of Indiana. And with me is Kevin Sumner from my engineer. My address is 11555 North Meridian Street, Suite 400 in Carmel. And it's 46032. I'll pull up a quick presentation. So thank you again. Yeah, tonight is the primary plat, so we're coming in with a community that's about. Hey, so we're coming with a primary plat under the existing zoning today. We're referring to this as Holly Springs. So the site is located on the east side of Sheep Road. It's north of Ray Crow Way and adjacent to the Ray Crow Elementary School, as well as the Greenwood Bible Baptist Church to the north. The site is currently being used for farmland, and we're coming in planting this along with two of the others. One will be a remainder site, and the existing site, the church will be buying both of those. So again, a closer look, it's zoned RM, single family. So we're coming in with a primary plat for up to 76 lots that would comply with the zoning standards. So our entrance is off of Sheep Road as well as Ray Crow Way. Sorry. And looking at, we're providing a pedestrian connection to the school to the east. Under the code, there would be a connection required to the north as well, to the church. That area is used for the church, like the pumpkin patch and other parts of throughout community events, as well as they're looking at future, if they ever expand in the future, it would be in that area. So we are asking for a waiver for a pedestrian connection to the north. Other than that, all the other standards of the plat comply with the UDO, the zoning ordinance, and the subdivision control ordinance. Again, we're looking at, based on the site layout and drainage requirements, up to 76 homes under the existing zoning. That provides up to 30% open space and about 2.4 units per acre. Again, all our lot standards, lot width, and everything will comply with the standards of the RM zoning. With that, I'm just here for any questions, as well as Kevin will answer anything for engineering.
Well, let's see if the remonstrators have anything to say, and then we'll come back to questions. Anybody to speak against this?
Just mainly questions. So Randy Gooden, 1157 Central Park Boulevard, South Greenwood, Indiana, 46143. First one was answered. I understand it's RM. And I ask a lot of questions, as you all know. Price point for these homes. Are we looking, are these starter homes, or what are they looking at for these? And I wanted to know how Lennar would answer to coming into this area as a business, and how they're going to try and improve their customer service ratings. When I looked them up, even with the Better Business Bureau, they're not where I would expect a builder that's coming into my area that's across the street from me. And that's really all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else to speak against this? Okay, you have 5-minute rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we don't know the exact home prices, the way the industry's going, material is, changes and fluctuates, so to build any home today, we're looking at right around 300,000 starting, so we're gonna come in and build the homes that comply with UDO, architectural standards, or go above, above and beyond them, so we expect these at least in 300s and above. For Lennar, I mean, that's national, we're a national company, but that's a national rating, who knows, what's kind of taken into those reviews, I'm not sure the source of that review. But I can tell you for Lennar, there's a new name for Indiana, but however, the company Lennar merged with was Calatlantic, which was formerly Ryland Homes. We've been around for over 20 years. We're actually the longest builder within central Indiana. We use a local architect in-house. We build our homes to match Indiana, Midwest, central Indiana architecture. So even though Lennar is a national company, we're a local division out of central Indiana, and we pride ourselves on great customer service. And so there's not been an issue in the communities around here that I'm aware of. And that's best I can speak to that.
All right. Mr. Good, your rebuttal.
Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate you sharing the information on price point. And to be fair with you, I will divulge my resources. I pulled your ratings from consumeraffairs.com. I also pulled you from the Better Business Bureau, and I pulled Indiana as well as nationally. And currently on the Better Business Bureau, you're trending at a 1.8 out of the possible 5. And that's why I raised the question. I'm just trying to be fair with you and tell you where I pulled my information from. And that's why I was asking, what could Lennar do to guarantee that we don't run into 5 years down the road where we're having a ton of housing issues in this area? I'm just trying to look out for my neighbors as well as myself. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Good. Any more comments, questions? With that, we'll close the public hearing. I want to remind everybody that our actions on the primary plat is a ministerial act. And I appreciate you sharing the price points with us. That is not to be entered into as, as anything to do with our ordinances. I did have one question. And if you could go through the access to the church again.
Sure. I don't know if it's still being shared that soon, but
Okay.
okay. And Dale might need some assistance on this, but from my reviewing of the code, I think we have a block length requirement of only 600 feet or no more, but to have more than 600 feet, you need some kind of connection. That's the standard I think we're referring to right now. That's correct, yes. So when you measure from the center line of that little bulb out to the east there, to the end of the road, which is the mouse not showing up. So when you measure from the center line here to the center line of the curve, it's more than 600 feet. So under the UDO, to allow that, we'd have to have a pedestrian connection or a roadway to break that block length. Since there's a developed property to the north, we wouldn't want roadway, so we would look at maybe pedestrian connection. But even then, in talking with the church, which I probably should have highlighted more, we had a letter on file from the pastor of the church. They were not in favor of wanting a connection, again, because they use that area for like pumpkin patch and other festivals. And then he said that, if the church expands, that's a vacant area that they would be able to use in the future. And that trail could dictate what they could do there. I should also add, sorry, that these are the remainder parcels that were not part of the original plat when we first filed. And so this is block A. These are 2 lots that will be remainder on Sheik Road, but as part of this, there'll be a secondary plat filed as well, and they'll get we'll do all the improvements and those owners that the church will be buying. the seller or the church will put in the sidewalk to do that connection, and we'll do our sidewalk connection along our private path as well. So this also cleans up some ugly parcel situations today too, where the property line is over, potentially over one of the buildings, and the driveways on one side.
And I want to clarify that standard. So in our subdivision, we require that we essentially stub out in the directions that we can. So that's the waiver that's being sought today. The 600-foot block length, that is something we will probably have to take a look at our plan stage and see really where that 600-foot lies. Because if we do get longer than 600 feet on that block, we'll have to find some way along that street to break up the block, be it maybe a common area leading to the pond or something of that nature. So that is a separate standard. The one that we're talking about today would get, some physical connection to the north. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
There was a letter provided to each of us from Greenwood Bible Baptist Church that confirms Scott was saying. So the church would prefer that not be required in that certain location. They'd be in favor of the waiver. Is there any other questions or comments, Mr. Dine?
In theory, this trail would have no use for you or the church, correct? You would lose a lot by putting that trail to the north.
Yeah, most likely we would lose a lot.
Okay. Shauna, what is our policy on doing this or waiving this restriction, or do we have one? As far as,
Your UDO allowed you to waive anything if the criteria is met. So if the criteria is met, which is set forth in the pages of that criteria that they have to prove, if you feel that they have proven it, then it's okay to waive it. And it's not uncommon for you to grant waivers on subdivisions for various things.
This would not be a life safety thing. Normally we'd have that stuff for later
No,
subdivisions.
it's not. They have 2 access points already, so even though they're over the 49 lot threshold, they have 2
They have to-
separate
okay.
accesses off of.
well,
off
being a
the road.
conspiracy theorist, I'm wondering who's going to benefit, Lenore or the church, or what do they come together to do? So basically my questions have been answered. There's no sinister things at work here. So but it was a question I had that, basically it's not going to serve you or them either one.
Anybody else? Do the waiver first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I've got a question. I'm not seeing any frontage trails along either Raycrow Way or along the west side. That's something that in the past we've always had frontage. They are there?
Yeah.
Okay, I clearly the Terry and Bruce McLean property would interrupt that. I think in the past, we've done it on both sides.
This one's
Yeah.
coming
And
with a
that's
different. plat
something
later.
we'll continue to talk about during the plan review. If there's a way for us to get that to be continuous, then we'll certainly explore it. But that one little property in the middle is not part of this, so
Correct.
can't necessarily guarantee we'll get there, but we'll try to.
Yeah, we did, and I met with all the property owners and the church involved with the sale to talk about that. And as Dale mentioned, if there's possibility of getting a park fee impact credit, we can potentially put in the path on Mr. Plains piece if he agrees to that, because it's not part of it. So it can't be required, but if he's willing to partner and we get an agreement to do that for parking impact fee credit,
Rather than sidewalk.
we can put that all the way through.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, we do the waiver first. Yes.
Mr. President, in regards to PC 2021-097 Holly Springs subdivision, I move that the request of We Engineers on behalf of Lennar Homes for a waiver from the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 10, Article 25, Division 6, subdivision, Section 10-06-02, Blocks A3, which requires a mid-block connection access to the property north of the proposed subdivision for provision of vehicular and pedestrian access between adjacent developments to prevent no access connection be approved. And that the Plan Commission find that the criteria set forth by Greenwood Municipal Code, Section 10-04-05I, for the approval of the waiver has been met for the reasons set forth in the applicant's written waiver request and as presented by applicant's representative.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shell and second by Monica. All those in favor of that motion signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 9-0. Now for the primary plat.
Mr. President, regards to docket PC 2021-097, the primary plat for Holly Springs residential subdivision. I move to approve the proposed primary plat submitted by We Engineers on behalf of Lennar Homes, docket PC 2021-097, because the primary plat complies with the standards in the subdivisions division of the Unified Development Ordinance, and to direct the president to sign in the commission's behalf the notice of determination and written finding regarding the approval of the primary plat as prepared by the planning director.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shell and second by Monica. All those in favor of that motion signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 9-0. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck, gentlemen. New business from the floor. Okay, before I go to announcements. We were provided a rough draft for the
Rules of procedure amendment.
for the ability to attend virtually. Anybody get a chance to read those? Anybody got any questions, comments, changes? I think it was basically the same as the council, except we did make a few changes. I think we changed 25% instead of 50%.
And no more than two.
And unless there was a
Military
specific
service.
illness.
And
Specific.
that's by statute as well. though.
Yeah. So is everybody okay with that draft?
Quick question
Mhm.
on, I guess, paragraph B. Does that apply to?
We talked about that, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it in for overkill. We can always drop it out later.
Most of those are for council, but we can leave
Works,
that, right?
but yeah, we just left it in, but we can always drop it later if you like.
So if everybody is, everybody's agreement to that, there has been a motion prepared. Everybody, any other questions, comments? Okay,
Mr. President, I move to amend Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission Rules of Procedure, Article 2, Public Hearings, to add Section 2.12, Commission members' participation in meetings by electronic means, and to amend Article 7, Officers, Commissioner Records, Section 7.03, Minutes, Records, Public Records, to add an additional paragraph requiring certain information in the minutes when a commission member participates by electronic means of communication as presented by the city attorney to become effective immediately upon the passage of this motion.
second. Motion by Mr. Shell, and second by Mr. King. All those in favor of that motion, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 9-0. Okay. Any announcements?
We do have business for our next meeting, so we'll see some tweaks.
Now that we've adopted these new rules, we're still on medical.
Yeah, we're still under a public health emergency by the
Right.
governor.
I will be attending virtually the next meeting. that the one where we have to change the rules? and
No,
procedures?
because you are through the month of November, you will be under a public health emergency, so the statute applies, so any of the members can participate remotely. We only need the policy when we no longer have a declared public emergency.
I guess what I'm asking
Doesn't count
is,
as one of his two.
No, you do not have to, you don't have to meet by your electronic meeting policy as long as you're under a declared public health emergency. You come under the state statute that allows any of you to participate electronically.
So you're good to go.
so I understand that.
But
What I'm asking
chairing the
is
meeting,
chairing the meeting.
We have made, I think your rules say there's a, I have to go back and hold the rules, I don't have it, when you are not here.
We did this in
We
July.
have this so that the vice president of the commission chairs the meeting and runs it when
Like
you are
we
not
did.
physically present.
We got to do this one at a time in July. Okay. And so we adopt that
So we do that at the meeting,
at the meeting.
make sure if you're there remotely, then do it.
Any other announcements? Board's open yet?
The contract has not changed their commitment. They're still,
Well, that's good.
they're still saying mid-December to have the road open. They are making progress, but just talking about it before the meeting, Mother Nature's got that temperature
Oh.
deadline out there.
Yep.
And there's rainy days at the end of this week and temperatures next week. Who knows? So they keep getting very close, but just that window of opportunity is getting smaller.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else?
Shall we adjourn?
It's your call.
Let's adjourn, please.